Alright, boys and girls, today we're going to be throwing some money down the old money pit. The brakes are kind of shot, so we're doing some upgrades. Going to do drilled and slotted rotors, ceramic pads, and new OEM calipers. So I didn't feel like upgrading the calipers. Already did the driver's side, so this is all buttoned up. Brakes seem to be stiff, so I think I got all the air out the lines. So now I'm going to do everything I learned the hard way on the other side. On this side, I'm going to do to the other side. So that includes turning the wheel. I'm going to turn the wheel a little bit. We're going to get in here, loosen up basically just take this whole caliper off and replace it with the new one. And oh, hello. A piece of sugar cane look like, or some grass. Oh, it was definitely grass. So we'll swap the calipers, bleed the brakes, and swap the rotors as well. And we'll take it for a drive and bed in the new pads and rotors. Alright, here we are ready to go. Getting the passenger side caliper and rotor done. So got the tools for the job over here. This is my used brake fluid reservoir, vacuum pump, cheetah pipe, screwdriver, assorted wrenches. We got an 8mm for the bleeder screw, got a 14mm for the caliper bolt pin bolts, a 17mm for the caliper bracket, and then once we change the caliper, the 14mm goes for the brake line, and then once we change the caliper, 7/16 goes to the brake line. So we'll knock all that shit loose real quick. Alright, we got the caliper off. Still got it connected to the brake line, just because I wanted to get the disc on first. The discs that I got were labeled. Each one was designated for where it goes on the car. This one, as you can see, the front passenger side. I guess these holes and these slots go in the direction of travel. So next I'm gonna knock that 14mm bolt loose, and then we got the new caliper in the box. So comes pretty much all together. Got the new brake hardware, which we'll use. A little warning label saying your warranty's void, yada yada yada. We'll lube the insides of the outside bracket and the cylinder right there. The guides, and then put the banjo fitting on, and we'll be good to go. Well, we'll put the thing on there before we hook it all up, but I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, calipers on. We got the top bolt and the bottom bolt. I'm gonna tighten those down just so that I can be done, do one step at a time, and know that they're tightened. Once I tighten those down, we're gonna take off this pin bolt. We're gonna take it out, and then we're gonna let this part of the caliper flop down. I'm gonna put the brackets in the top and bottom of the bracket itself, install the pads, lube up the slides and stuff, and then we're gonna fold the caliper over, transfer the brake lines, bleed it, and then we should be good. Alright, so we got the the little brackets clicked in. We got these little I think they're wear indicators. Click onto the pad, and then we got the pads into the brackets themselves. We tightened up the lugs. We got the piston lubricated as well as the brackets. So now we'll flip this. A little coaxing. And then this pin, or this bolt, goes back into the pin. Alright, we'll snug those up, swap the brake line, I'm good. Alright, a little messy, but no big deal. Got the banjo bolt on. Everything else is tightened down. And now we bleed. Alright, got the bleeder screw hooked up with a little wrench on it. Got the hose going to a jug. Now we're going to pump the brake until there's fluid flowing out of here into the bucket or jug, whatever. That will tell us that the reservoir is full. And once we don't get any bubbles coming out of here, we should be good. Once it's just solid fluid coming out of here, we'll just keep pumping it, and then the reservoir will be full. Now, one thing you got to do is you got to keep the master cylinder topped off. So right here I got it a little bit below the max fill line, so I'll dump a little bit more in there, and we'll just keep pumping and keep topping off to make sure we don't draw any air into that master cylinder, because that would be bad. Alright, brake pedal's pretty firm. Went ahead and bled it because it's kind of a two-handed operation, and I gotta do camera duties with the other hand. So like I said, hose hooked up to here. We drained a little bit more fluid out of it. This thing, so this is the hose that you hook up that, and then you pump this to a vacuum about 20-25, and then you let loose the bleed screw, and it sucks a bunch of fluid and air out. And you do that until you don't see no more air. But the problem is that hose leaks around where it connects, so you're gonna get air. So you really got to go by pedal feel, or I had to go by pedal feel. Pedal feels good, so we're done. Now we'll move on to the back. Alright, so here's the back brakes. This is, make sure you let your emergency brake loose, because this won't spin otherwise. This little rubber thing is the little inspection window, or the adjustment window for the emergency brake, which we'll see in a minute. Caliper, so there's a pin that you can't access, and then a bolt pin that you can. The bracket bolts are right here and right here. 17 mil just like the front. 14 on the pin bolt and the banjo bolt. So we'll take that all loose, rip the disc off. I'll show you the emergency brake adjustment, which we need to do when we change the brakes like this, and then we'll go from there. Alright, caliper's off. I got it sitting right there. It's pretty much going to be the same process as the front, so I won't go into too much detail. I'll just kind of show you what's different. On this one, it's a captive pin, so you can't loosen it. So when we get the new caliper on, we'll flop it up and install the brake drums, the brake disc, the pads. This is the emergency brake. These are the shoes. They're probably a little worn out. Down here is the little adjustment wheel. So you line up that little window on the brake disc, which is right here, and you get a little screwdriver and you click that little thing, and it can tighten up the brakes. So once we get everything together, that's what we're going to do. We're going to adjust this. I counted 13 clicks on the lever in the car, and I tightened up the other one to where the wheel wouldn't move. So we're going to tighten up the lever to 13 clicks, pull the lever to 13 clicks, and we're going to tighten up this one until the wheel don't move no more. So that's going to be the process. I'll show that when I get to it, but for now it's just going to be throwing the disc on here, caliper, pads, pretty much the exact same as the front. Alright, so I got everything back together, got the caliper purge and all that stuff. So this is where you adjust the thing. So you feel with your screwdriver on there until you feel that little wheel, and then you can adjust it. I'm going the wrong way. There we go. So up, gets it tighter. Oop. See, now it's getting hard to flick. So we're gonna call that good. Put the wheels on, and then we'll see what she got. Oh, I did want to mention the caliper bolts, the caliper bracket bolts. I lied. They're not 17. They're 14. And this thing there is a 17. So, yeah.